Welcome back. Welcome back to the World Forest Forum 2025. We're focusing on how forests can be used to create concrete solutions for enhancing biodiversity and addressing the climate challenge. Well, in the next sessions, we will explore what it takes to build a well-functioning market for biodiversity credits. And I would now like to introduce two persons. Lisa Wärn, you're the project manager for the collaborative initiative Swedish Biocredit Alliance, which was launched by the World Forest Forum and is run in partnership with several organizations, including Qarlbo Biodiversity, where Martin Pilstjärna is Impact Director. And you're very welcome to take place here on the stage. And we look forward to hearing more about how the Swedish Biocredit Alliance is working to promote a biodiversity credit market rooted in the managed landscape. So, welcome.
Thank you so much, Malin. And hello, everybody. And hello, everybody who's online. Yeah, let's see here. We can just switch. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Martin and I, we are working together in this collaboration, Swedish Biocredit Alliance. And before we go dive deep into the project, we would like to give you a brief background on why we have this project. So, as you all know, the negative trend in biodiversity is one of the greatest challenges facing humanity. And therefore, we have international agreements. Among them is the Kunming-Montreal Agreement from December 2022. And in that agreement, biocredits is mentioned as one tool to get more finance into nature. And as you all know, the global economy is entirely dependent on biodiversity, and both the European Central Bank and World Economic Forum have warned of the risks. And every year, World Economic Forum launches a risk report. The latest one is from January this year. And there they say that the biodiversity crisis is one of the greatest risks to the global economy in the next 10 years. And half of the world's GDP is at risk. So that's much. Let's see.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Lisa. I will continue then. So to just trying to set the stage for like the reasons why we are working with this instrument is that, as many of you are certainly aware, there's a huge gap when it comes to the funding of various types of conservation activities. So it has been, various figures has been published recently, and one of them that's probably been quite widespread is this figure saying that there's a lack of around $700 billion per year for the just meeting the actual need for conservation. And of course, we need to be really innovative in finding new ways of mobilizing private capital into conservation. And so the credit instrument as such has been discussed for a number of years when it comes to biodiversity credits. It has been tested in compliance settings in the US for many years, as in the mitigation banking system. And also in other parts of the world, such as Colombia and South America, for example, and also in France and in Germany, they have sort of now operationalized systems for biodiversity credits. So these initiatives are taking place. And we are, of course, part of this sort of movement, trying to understand how could this instrument be used. And here we specifically focus on the voluntary side of the market. So, yeah, the question everyone is asking themselves is what is it all about? What is a credit? So the credit as such can be seen as a certificate that represents some kind of verified and measured positive biodiversity outcome. So that is really the product as such that is created in these projects. And of course, the idea with the projects that generate credit is to stimulate more biodiversity conservation actions or restoration actions. And there's a lot of anxiety from from some stakeholders that this could be a risk. If this instrument is really successful, it might actually outcompete already existing functioning public funding sources. But that is not really how we see this. Is definitely something that should complement already existing well-functioning funding sources.
Yeah, and our work is a three-stage approach. It all started with Alexandra Holmlund's research on biocredits at the Swedish University of Agricultural Sciences. And you can just Google her thesis and you'll find it easy on the internet. And now we are in step 2, where we are running the project, Swedish Biocredit Alliance, which we soon will tell you a little bit more about. And step 3 is Jan and Maria going to tell you more about in just a few minutes. And that's how we take this from a project to a permanent organization. So Swedish Biocredit Alliance, it's a 2-year project, and our work is to establish the fundamental structure for a robust and transparent global market for biocredits in production landscapes. And we talk a lot about forest here today, but there are other landscapes as well who can be included in this system, like agriculture, marine biocredits, etc. And our work is to develop regulations and guidelines. And maybe the most important factor, as Helen told us about, is to understand the needs of the buyers. How can we reduce the barriers so we get the buyers to invest in nature? So that's our main focus right now in the project, to understand this and to co-create with other parts of society. And this is the partners who make this possible. We have World Forest Forum, who initiated the project, and Qarlbo, who Martin represents. Södra, Norra Skog, and Umeå kommun are funding partners. And then we have some members who follow the projects. And we also have working groups with other organizations as well, like the banks, big companies, European Investment Bank, etc.
Yeah, so some of the results so far, we try to, it's been a lot of things happening the last couple of years, and here you can see some of them, probably most important ones, the milestones really in the project. So as been mentioned, we now have a published standard framework really for biodiversity credit projects. And that's what we call Global Biocredit Standard. And we have also been working quite a lot with creating supporting guidances, sort of around governance and integrity. So acknowledging that we cannot just have a standard, we must have so many other different components to make this a credible instrument. So for example, someone needs to validate and verify these projects in order for them to be credible. So there needs to be some kind of standard with the requirements for those that are supposed to do this third-party auditing. So that's something that we have already we have been working with, and we're basically finalizing that standard as we speak. We have also been thinking quite a lot about how you should be able to claim those credit purchases that corporates want to do, hopefully. And because it's actually super tricky and it's more complicated than you might think, because there could be different kinds of transactions models and business models. So you need to be sure, what has actually been purchased. Is it a future outcomes, or is it actually outcomes that have been exists and have been verified? So really trying to be careful there when it comes to defining the potential claims that could be used. Pilot projects, we launched last year a set of 5 different pilot projects just to really show the potential buyers what this project could look like and what kind of outcomes could be generated. Really small scale, just 5 areas, around 10 hectares, but still something more tangible that you could actually look at and get a sense of what kind of outcomes could be generated. Also a way of stress testing really the methodology. So under this standard, Lisa mentioned that this will be a standard that could allow several different kinds of methodologies. in several different ecosystems, not only forest, of course, but of course even including grasslands, marine ecosystems as well. And the idea being that we need to have a strong process for also validating those new methodologies coming up under the standard. So this is also like I think it's an important result from our work to really say that we now have a good validation process where a technical scientific committee will review proposed methodologies according to a set of different quality criteria and come up with a response that needs to be taken care of by the methodology developer. Also important that we have been reaching out to several important stakeholders, such as politicians, both here in Sweden as well as in the EU Commission, trying to sort of just spread word and inform them about the work we are doing. And also, we, of course, want to sort of nudge or influence them a little bit in a way that we think is good for the developing market. We have been also working a lot lately with understanding, as Lisa mentioned, the needs from the potential buyers. Without the buyers, there will be no market, of course. So we really need to understand it. And there are so many other different things that the buyers need to think of. Their disclosure, reporting requirements, their target setting processes, all the trying to figure out the use cases that could be of most interest to particular businesses and corporates. It's a lot of work, but it needs to be done together with the corporates, not in a small bubble on the side, really. Also important that we have a strong engagement by environmental stakeholders, because partly because they actually has a lot of input into these processes, a lot of knowledge that can actually help the system be relevant, and also because it's just stating an obvious thing that for many corporates they really need to know where, for example, the large national environmental stakeholders, what they think about this. So their opinion is super important for this to get to be credible. And just some words on the standard itself. As said before, this will be basically a framework and with the high-level integrity principles that can allow several different kinds of project methodologies to be developed with specific rules on how to design projects with the aim of generating credits. And this standard is, of course, takes into account all the important aspects that you need to have, such as, for example, how to create some kind of permanence, how to define additionality, how to set baselines, and how to take care of leakage. All these different things that are so important to have a robust system is clarified and explained in the standard. Super important as well is that to keep a pace with what's happening in the world. And we know that there are strong initiatives, for example, in the Biodiversity Credit Alliance, BCA, as well as in the IAPB and World Economic Forum, to define really the terminology that we use. That's important to stick to, not talk about the same things in different words, but use the same words. And then also to take up and revise the standard according to the new high-level principle that was published just a couple of weeks ago as a collaborative work between BCA, IAPB and World Economic Forum, stating really the most important quality criteria for biodiversity credits. So that work, the high-level principles for high-integrity credits, is going to be incorporated into the standard. So, yeah, I think that was actually the most important pieces we wanted to bring up here.
Yeah, and if you want to co-create with us or have any questions, you can just ask them here, or you who are online, you can just send us an email, because that's our approach, co-creation. Yeah, we have to be strong together.
Thank you very much.